I was on social media today, and there was this black guy. He's a Pan African, like this clown here, like Umar Johnson, and he was like, the American government created this virus, which this is the narrative that China's trying to push to the world, that we hold no responsibility for this virus. America's the one that created it. They're the one who brought it, which is complete bullshit. Okay, but you have black people like these Pan African people with conspiracy theories saying that the United States government created this virus and they trying to take us out. And when he meant by trying to take us out, he just meant the black community. And then you had all of these people that were liking it. It was like hundreds and hundreds of people. It had to be like 800 likes or something. And I was like, we cannot be this stupid. We cannot be this ignorant. Always looking for some kind of conspiracy. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this, and then you put two and two together, you use your common sense. You like, well, if they trying to take us out, then why everybody in quarantine? If they trying to take everybody out, if they trying to spread this virus, why they putting everybody in quarantine? And you look at the common sense of it, and it's like, you have many gullible African Americans who will believe anything. I had to go through this stuff in college, where you just had a ton of gullible African Americans who just think the world is against them. And they're very content in playing the victim. And you have these leaders that capitalize off of black folks who love playing the victim. And here you have somebody like Umar Johnson who capitalizes off of weak black people. Okay, all these people that are with Umar Johnson, that agree with Umar Johnson, that fight for Umar Johnson, that follow Umar Johnson, they are weak. The problem is that African Americans, a lot of us, are always looking for someone to lead us instead of us being the leaders ourselves. We're always looking for some kind of leadership. But when the shit hits the fan, where's the leadership? Right now, where's Al Sharpton? Right now, where's the Reverend Jesse Jackson? Where are these people that a few years ago, wanted the support of African Americans? They're nowhere to be in sight. Yeah, you could still be 70 years old and 80 years old and lead a movement. It's still very possible. So here you have Umar Johnson, who doesn't skip a beat. So there is this virus is ravaging a nation. And I want to show you something, because you have to see the real numbers to understand my frustration. Okay, so these are the numbers just from a few days ago. This is not from yesterday. So the USA had 66,000. I'm just going to do this. It should be, look at this. The USA has surpassed China in new cases. Yesterday's cases were 17,000 new cases. 17,000. And this is just because we are being very transparent. And the other thing is that there's not enough test kits. If you had the amount of test kits that were needed, if every person had a test kit, this would be in the hundreds of thousands. I tell you this right now, we're going to surpass China. I already showed you what China's doing, why their numbers are plus 55. Now, you can't believe all of this because it is a CCP government. I know where I'm living. I'm not stupid. Okay? I know they're hiding figures. They have a lot of evidence out there that says that China is hiding figures. I might show you that. I'm not sure. The thing is, I don't really want to politicize this channel. Okay? Because I have another channel where I really politicize and I talk about like the craziness what China is doing. And I'm quite upset that China accused the United States of developing this virus when there's ample evidence and proof that this virus originated in China. Okay, they have a saying. At least Bob Marley, I think he said this. He said you could fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all of the time. Um, in China, because you have the CCP government, you can fool all the people all the time. It just takes propaganda. And in the black community, we also have this kind of propaganda. You can fool all the people all the time. And Umar Johnson is the one that's doing the fooling. Now, 100 people died yesterday in New York City alone. 100 people. And you have this idiot, okay, continuously talking about, I'm going to be flying over here, I'm going over here, I'm going over there, I'm going over here. This, what is he? The most requested, the most loved scholar, the most talked about scholar, or whatever, right? And if I was a leader of a movement, of a Pan-African movement that he claims to be the leader of, what do you think I would be talking about right now? What would I be speaking about? I'm going to imagine if I was Umar Johnson, what would I be speaking about? I would be telling people, listen, you got to stay home. I would be telling the people what I'm telling them now. So you understand what I'm doing now? Right? You see what I'm doing now? You see how I'm in China and I'm telling you, hey, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. Here's another way. Here's a way you could get a better job. All he's talking about is his fucking hyena yelps. I'm so upset. It's like he's put his black people in danger, right? And then when they get the coronavirus, they go back to the hood and then give it to everybody else. I'm quite pissed off at this because yesterday I had a friend, right? So we have a deal. He has a beat channel. He makes these hip hop beats, not necessarily for me, but he just makes them. And I think I was paying him $30 a month. So I was paying him $30 a month. However, I had put $200 or $300 into this YouTube website for these beats without asking a dime from him. He didn't put any money into this site where I'm promoting his beats, but I'm paying him money, right? So he was like, you got to give me money for these beats and all this kind of stuff. But I'm like, I'm not using these beats. I'm just promoting your stuff. And I said, we can both get money if if we get 1,000 subscribers or what have you, right? That didn't work out. Well, I think I put 50, 60 of his beats on there. It really didn't work out. He got 150 subscribers, not even 120 subscribers. So I was like, okay, this is not working. And plus with the virus going on, I don't want to be just giving money away. Who knows what's gonna happen? Even $30, you can do. I can find something more productive to do $30 with. And why am I wasting $30 on this guy? Why am I giving him $30? I put $200 and something, $300 into this website. So why am I giving him money? He should be giving me money to promote his stuff, right? So that stopped after 5 months. So I was like, okay, no more. Okay, so altogether it's $400 I didn't spend on this thing, and I was like, whatever, you try, and if it doesn't happen, then you move on. So he calls threatening me you're an asshole, you're this, you're bad, you're horrible, you mad, grimy, you this and that and this and that, and I'm like, my man, I'm in China, right? In the past 2 or 3 months, you didn't ask not one time, how is my family doing? How you doing with the virus? Is it okay over there? You act like it don't even exist. And now that it's running rampant in New York City, because he's from New York City, you act like this thing don't even exist. You go about on your life, and you don't ask. You have information that you could get from me, like what's happening over there in China. What should I do? Granted, this dude he's like 37. He got to be like 37 years old. He got like 5 children or something like that. Because his first child he had when he was 15. Okay, his mother is kind of out there. He doesn't have a father, which is not surprising. You know, all the people I know, all the black folks I know, they don't have fathers in their lives. You know, so he doesn't have a father. He doesn't know how to be a man, and he's like, be a man, stop smoking, be a man and talk to me. So I told him, I'm like, listen, I'm not giving you any more money. You didn't even care about what happened to my family in China. You didn't ask, right? And you didn't even ask for advice. It's like you don't even think it exists. So this is what I'm saying is you have a lot of ignorant black people out there that they don't know. They don't care that it exists. They will still keep on living their life. In a hood, nobody's wearing masks. Nobody's wearing gloves. They don't care. They simply don't care. They'll keep on going. And this is where it's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. Right now in Detroit is the people that have had it is exploding in Detroit, in the hood. Because black people, it seems they just don't give a fuck. Right? And right now, you need a leader that would say, listen, put on a mask. But I have to tell this fool, which is supposedly be my friend, put on gloves. You need gloves. You need a mask. I done gave you $30 a month. What you been doing with it? You know, you got a job. Take care of your children. Make sure they got gloves and masks on. Nothing from that. He didn't respond to that. Nothing. No way. Because look, my voice is too small. I ain't shit. I tried it in college, to be a leader. They don't want people that have sense in their mind as a leader. They want these kinds of guys who just talk shit. They open up their asshole and farts come out, and that's what's speaking. We call it in China feng pi. Ni shuo go pi, ni shuo feng pi, which means you speaking in farts. All the things you speaking is shit. It's nothing. We should see him as a leader to tell people, look, the black folks especially, stay in the house, do this, I'm with you. I'm going to donate. He don't donate shit. As a leader, all his money, he said he got $750,000, $1 million, whatever. You can't donate $1,000 to put masks and gloves in the hood. You can't donate $1,000 for there to be a delivery to the old folks' house because the old folks got to stay in. They can't go out to get food. So who's going to go out to get food for them? You can't organize a drive like that. This is simple shit that black people should be doing. Saying, look, ma'am, you need some food? Listen, I'm going to pay like 3 or 4 boys and we're going to make these kind of like care packages for you. Not so many people because we got social distancing. Just a few. Just a few. They're going to have gloves. They're going to have all this kind of things. Right? What else he could do? He could have checkpoints. This is what I was trying to show you in China. How they had checkpoints. You can't even get into the apartment complex. They had that before the virus. That you still got to have checkpoints before you get into the apartment building. That's why it's not so many. That's why they can combat it fast. Because of authoritarian rule. You got Black Panthers that could do this kind of stuff. Like staying in black neighborhoods and there's a checkpoint. Like a choke point. You can't come in. We got to take your what do you call it? Your temperature. We got to do all this kinds of stuff. See, you needed people like this guy to do that. But let's see what he says. Let's see what he does. This is March 24th, which leads me to believe he probably made it in March 23rd. Okay?
You are not guaranteed a training packet.
Okay. So, let's see. I'm going to try to put this in. Okay.
unless you register online. You can walk into the Black Parent trainings, but you are not guaranteed a training packet unless you register online. Bermuda, I am coming to Bermuda in April. South Africa, I will be in Soweto. I will be in Soweto, South Africa, for the anniversary of Hector Peterson and the Soweto student uprising of 1977-76. Forgive me on the year. I will be in Soweto at the Hector Peterson Museum on June the 16th, and I will stand in solidarity with my brothers and sisters of the great Zulu nation, and I will stand in solidarity with my brothers and sisters of the great Xhosa nation, and I will stand in solidarity with my brothers and sisters of the great Swazi nation.
So he's shitting and pissing on your head and calling it rain. That's what he's doing. He said nothing about the coronavirus. God, you should stay home. Hopefully in China, because in Africa, it's rising. It's like freaking, now it's like 4,000. Let me check. Because if you go down to Africa, it's starting to get crazy now. Okay? They don't have they got the individual states. But if you go to Africa, like the continent of Africa, it's crazy. It's getting nuts over there. It's more than 2,000-3,000 cases right now, right? And it's only getting bigger. It's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. And look, active cases 915. Total recovered only 12. And he's talking about going to South Africa. Yesterday was plus 218. But this fool is talking about, I'm going to Africa. You can't even take a plane out now, you idiot. Even in a month, you probably can't do that. Because America's 17,000. Okay? 17,000 cases. And the peak is not coming until they say 2 or 3 weeks later. Which means there's still going to be people recovering from even 2 months later. And he's talking about, I'm going to Africa. I'm going to South Africa. And you still have idiot black people, African Americans, giving this guy money. He doesn't care about you. Don't you understand that? And this is why I used to be part of that pro-Africa, Pan-African movement, and I had just to walk away from it because it didn't make any sense. These people didn't care about you at all. They themselves were just trying to make a living. This is all it is. See, Umar, the reason why he's not preaching quarantine is because he can't be in quarantine himself because he doesn't have an apartment to be quarantined in. He doesn't have an apartment. He cannot. How can you quarantine? You can quarantine yourself in your car. And so he's creating all of these places that he needs to go and acting like he's important. I need to go here. I need to go there. You don't need to go anywhere. Stay your ass in your fucking car. We don't need you passing and spreading your ignorance and your disease to other people. He has something that's worse than a coronavirus disease. He has ignorance. Ignorance is worse than this disease. He is one ignorant person. Look how dirty he is. Look, his hands are disgusting.
And I will stand in solidarity with my son.
Look at his hands. They're disgusting looking. He got moles all over his hands. That got to be some kind of condition. That has to be some kind of condition. And you always see him in the passenger seat of his car. You never see him in his apartment. Why aren't you having this kind of yelps in your car? Why aren't you having these kind of yelps in the office? He always got somewhere to go, and you always got stupid black people to host him. And this is why I'm just telling you guys, this is why I gave up on the African Americans, like diaspora. Because I saw a long time ago that these types of people will continue to rise in our community. Because as long as we continue to place ourselves as the perpetual victim as a victim of on and on, as the pervasive victim. Pervasive victimhood. Perpetual victimhood. You will always have these leaders like him that will rise up, that will take advantage of that. Yes, you are a victim. You are a leader. It's because you're black. You didn't do this. It's because you're black. You didn't get this. It's because you're black. It's everything. It's because you're black. Yes, there are some things that you cannot have or that you are denied because you are black, but it's not everything. He will have you believe that the American government created this disease to exterminate black people. And I'm like, why is that? He don't need a disease. America doesn't need a disease to exterminate black people. They got you. So when I see him just spouting off this nonsense, it's like I have to get away from it because he is the disease. He's the disease that will destroy our culture, that destroy our race, that will put it in perpetual victimhood. And you know what? You got 160 people that agree with him. He was on a radio show. There's another one. He's on a radio show, and now he's starting to get supporters. Like, look at this. You got 109 people believing in what this guy is saying. Now you got the people in the comment section taking up for Umar Johnson. This flunky, this loser, who has never achieved anything in his life. He has not achieved anything. He has not done anything for the people.
You can't.
Tell me what he has done, please. Tell me what he has done for the black community besides running off at the mouth. Can somebody tell me something? There's one thing that he's done that helps the economics of black people, because that's the main thing that we need. We need help economically. You know who's doing better work? Common Sense. Whatever happened to Common Sense? Where he's talking to you about how to invest in things, about what you should be investing in, about what you should be doing with your money. See, that's something that's helping the black community without being too nosy. Just you lend your expertise, and that's it. And if people want to give you donations, they give it to you. You don't need any of these hyena yelps, any of these things. This guy doesn't do anything. Absolutely nothing. What has he done? Please, somebody give me one thing. Buying this abandoned freaking goddamn trap house. This is not something that is done for the black community. This is something that's done for him. It doesn't help anybody. Him buying this thing. It's just wasting black people's money. With that money, with that $1 million you got, you could have started a whole online after school program helping black children. A whole online after school program. You could have created a website with 24-hour support, and black parents would have ate it up, teaching black culture, black history through online. And you could have hired online teachers, which is a lot easier than what you're doing now. This is some unattainable dream, pipe dream, that will never happen. I mean, and I just came through with that just 10 seconds from my mind. And nobody's paying me a dime for shit. Nobody's paying me a dime for nothing. That just came from my head for like in 10, 20 seconds. And this guy, this idiot, can get $1 million from you gullible motherfuckers to open up an abandoned bomb shelter that don't even got the lights on after 1 motherfucking year. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. You must understand my frustration.
Donation, you will not get an interview. If you send in a resume and you haven't made a donation, you will not get an interview, brothers and sisters. 215-8444 Dr. Umar. 8444 is the voicemails, and I prefer text messages to voicemails. I prefer emails to voicemails, and I also prefer text.
He prefers emails. He prefers emails to voicemails because he don't want to hear the black people. He don't want to hear them. To him, you're nothing. And you just resign to your fate. I stopped fighting a long time ago because I'm like, you can't fix stupid. You can't fix stupid. Already tried. As individuals, I try to help individuals if I can. But as a collective, to me, it seems it's impossible. Because if you just have these people like him, they're your leaders, it's no use to try to help. Because he preaches perpetual victimhood. And that's all it is. It's perpetual victimhood. Oh, woe is me. Tomorrow creeps upon this petty pace from day to day, to the last syllables of recorded time, and all our yesterdays are clouded by fools on a dusty road to death. Out, brief candle. Life is just a poor player who struts and frets his last hour on the stage and is heard no more. It is a tale told by idiots, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. I'm out. Stop smoking. Stop drinking. Peace.